Welcome to the school of sexuality. Let's talk about our values, gender equality. Everyone has a body, but no two are the same. Respect, consent, my body is my body. Respect, consent, your body is your body. This is the school of sexuality.
Puberty! It's puberty! You're gonna be okay. I know. Going through puberty can feel really overwhelming. Let's take a deep breath. We're going to get through this together. Let's make sure that you have all the information you need to be as prepared as possible to go on this journey to adulthood. Good news is you're not alone. Look around you. All these other kids, they're going through it too. Some of us might go through it in same ways. Some might go through it in different ways, while others might start sooner and others might start later. But no matter what, we're all going to go through it. Another good piece of news is it doesn't last forever. The average person goes through puberty for about 5 to 7 years. So that means by the time you're out of high school, you should be done. The changes our bodies go through are specific to the hormones and the reproductive anatomy that each of us have. Not all of these changes are exactly the same for everyone, but there are plenty of similarities. For instance, most people, no matter their biological sex, end up noticing that they sweat more during puberty, and they find that they have a new smell that isn't so pleasant. You can't get away without taking a shower every day, and you gotta start wearing deodorant. Another change most of us go through is your skin starts to produce more oil. This can result in acne. Updating your skincare routine will definitely help with this. Making sure that you wash your face morning and afternoon with a gentle skin cleanser and an oil-free moisturizer will definitely help, and your skin will appreciate it. One more change that most of us go through are emotional changes. At this time, our brain is still developing. Think of it as a brain reconstruction. Some of the parts that are developing are our decision-making, problem-solving, and emotional processing parts. Those are some really big functions for the brain, and they're getting moved around as if they're a sofa in the middle of our living room. Some effects from these changes could be really big emotions that are really hard to control. Making decisions that, you really didn't think through. Or feeling spacey, forgetting things all of the time. If you find that you're experiencing any of these things, take a deep breath. Be gentle with yourself. And remember that these things are normal and there's nothing wrong with you. Your brain is just busy being an interior designer. Now, let's talk about some more specific changes for vulva owners and penis owners. Penis owners' puberty. Enlargement of the testicles and scrotum. A near doubling in the size of the testicles and the scrotal sac announces that puberty has begun.
As the testicles continue to grow, the skin of the scrotum darkens, enlarges, thins, hangs down from the body, and becomes dotted with tiny bumps. These are hair follicles. In most people, one testicle hangs lower than the other. Pubic hair. At the base of the penis, hair will grow. Pubic hair turns dark, curlier, and coarser in texture, but the pattern is more diamond-shaped than triangular. Over the next few years, it covers the pubic region, then spreads towards the thighs. A thin line of hair also travels up to the navel. Roughly 2 years after the appearance of pubic hair, sparse hairs may begin to sprout on the face, legs, arms, and underarms, or later on the chest. Penis growth. A person may have adult-sized genitals as early as the age of 13 or as late as 18. First, the penis grows in length, then in width. Some penises have foreskin and some do not. This procedure is performed due to parents' choice or religious custom. It is important to wash your penis properly, and if you have foreskin, you can gently pull the skin back to make sure you clean the oils and sebum out. Bumps on the penis. About 1 in 3 adolescents have penile pink pearly papules on the penis. Pimple-like lesions around the crown or the corona. The tiny bumps are harmless, though usually permanent, and the papules are barely noticeable. Wet dreams and involuntary erections. Penis owners may wake up in the morning to find sticky, damp areas in their pajamas, pants, and sheets. This is called a nocturnal emission or a wet dream. It is a normal sign of reproductive systems maturing and changing and has no relation to a person's dream content. Think of it as the pipes starting to flow, but sometimes they flow on their own. This will eventually stop as you get older. You can use a warm washcloth to clean any semen that might have gotten on your bed or on your clothing. Erections are unpredictable during puberty also. They may pop up for no apparent reason and seemingly at the most inconvenient times. This is just another way of your body maturing and beginning to function in new ways on its own. Eventually, this will happen less and less as you get older. Voice changes. Just after the peak of the growth spurts, a person's voice box enlarges, as do the vocal cords. For a brief period of time, your voice may crack occasionally as it deepens. Once the larynx reaches adult size, the cracking will stop. Breast development. Early in puberty, most people experience soreness or tenderness around the nipples. 3 in 4, if not more, will actually have some sort of breast growth. Most of the time, the breast enlargement amounts to a firm breast bud of an average of 2 inches in diameter under the nipples. With most penis owners, this reduces within a couple of years, and with some it doesn't, but both are perfectly normal. Penis owners go through a hormone cycle daily. Testosterone is the main hormone in a penis owner's body. Testosterone perks during the morning. This means you're likely to be at your most energetic, confident, impulsive, and temperamental self. Testosterone in penis owners decrease throughout the day, with the afternoon being the perfect balance. The afternoon is a really good time for getting work done as you'll be more focused and more open to teamwork. When testosterone hits the lowest point in the evening, it's common for energy to dip with it, hurtling into a calmer emotion and tiredness.
Going through puberty can be really difficult for trans and non-binary folks. It can often trigger gender dysphoria. Getting support from a caring adult or an organization could help you navigate these changes and make decisions that are right for you. For additional support, there are many LGBTQIA organizations and charities that are available to help. This is including School of Sexuality.
What did the elephant say to the naked man? How do you breathe out of that thing?
Vulva owners' puberty. Vulva owners usually begin puberty between the ages of 8 and 13 years old. The earliest sign of puberty in most people is the development of breast buds, nickel-sized bumps under the nipple. It is not unusual for breast growth to start on one side before the other. It's also common for breast buds to be somewhat tender or sore. Uneven breast growth or soreness are both totally normal and usually improve with time. Body hair. Coarse hair will begin to grow in the genital area, under the arms, and on the legs. In some people, pubic hair may be the first sign of puberty. Many people begin to show interest in shaving their legs or armpits. This is a personal choice. There is no medical reason to shave armpits or leg hair. Often, the hair on the body is there to protect us from germs or friction. But if you decide to take these tips into consideration. Exfoliate the skin before shaving to bring any hair that may be growing under the skin surface up. Wet the skin and use lotion or gel. Shaving dry skin can scratch and irritate it. It may be easiest to shave in the shower or bathtub. Use light pressure. Pressing too hard on the razor could shave off some of the skin. Use extra care around the knees and ankles to avoid nicking the skin. Replace the razor or the blade often. A dull blade is more likely to tug, scrape, or irritate the skin. Don't share razors. Sharing razors can spread bacteria. Vaginal discharge. Vulvas are self-cleaning, and the vaginal canal will release a discharge which helps keep your vulva healthy and clean. You may experience a small to moderate amount of clear or white vaginal discharge that starts between 6 to 12 months before your first period. This is a normal response to growing amounts of hormones in the body. A thick white discharge is healthy. If thick white discharge goes along with other symptoms such as itching, burning, and irritation, it's probably due to a yeast infection. But if not, it's a normal discharge. You may also notice an increase in thick white discharge right before and after your period. Yellow discharge. Yellow discharge is abnormal discharge, as this is a sign of a bacterial infection. There's also many odors associated with it. Brown discharge can be caused by an irregular period cycle. But if brown discharge keeps appearing and is persistent, call your medical provider to schedule an appointment. Green discharge. Having green discharge is not normal. This is a sign of a bacterial infection. Anyone experiencing green discharge should see their provider. Yeast infection discharge. Yeast infection discharge is caused by an overgrowth of fungus in the vagina. Symptoms of a yeast infection discharge include thick, white, cottage cheese-like discharge, along with itching, redness, irritation, and burning. Roughly 90% of vulva owners will have a yeast infection at some point in their life. Yeast infections are not contagious, and over-the-counter antifungal creams are available for a patient to use. Periods or menstruation. Menstruation is the monthly shedding of the lining of the uterus and release of an unfertilized ova. This is called a period. The menstrual blood, which is partly blood and partly tissue from the inside of the uterus, flows from the uterus through the cervix and out of the body through the vagina. While timelines can vary, most vulva owners get their first period within 2 to 3 years after the development of breast buds. The average age for people to get their first period in the United States is around 12 years old. Some people may have bright red blood with their first period. Others may only have spotting with red-brown discharge. Both are normal. While some people will have periods once a month, periods may be irregular in the first few years as the body adapts to rapid physiology changes. The steps in the menstrual cycle are triggered by the rise and fall of chemicals in the body called hormones. The pituitary gland in the brain and the ovaries in the reproductive tract make and release certain hormones at certain times during the menstrual cycle that cause the organs of the reproductive tract to respond in certain ways. The cycle can be as short as 21 days or as long as 35 days. Many people associate the menstrual cycle with seasons because of the way our hormones make us feel. The first day of your cycle is the first day of your period, or the first season of your cycle. This is known as the winter. Your hormones are at an all-time low. This triggers the lining of your uterus to shed, which is why you have your period. What this means for you is that not only are your hormones at an all-time low, but so is your energy. This season is called winter for a reason. Winter is a time for staying inside, keeping warm, eating hearty and nutritious food, and hibernating. This is exactly what our bodies need from us during this phase. Winter is the time of the month that your body craves self-love practices the most. Practices that we would most often forget about with other seasons. After winter, we move into spring, also known as pre-ovulation. This is the second week of our cycle. Your pituitary gland, the small gland at the base of your brain responsible for hormone production, starts to release follicle-stimulating hormones, which contain your ova and help to mature and be ready for the next phase. What this also means is that your hormone levels start to rise once again, bringing you a boost of energy post-period. This week is good time for exploring new ideas, setting goals, and taking time to plan and give thought to things that are important to you. The third week or summer time of your cycle is the week that you will typically ovulate. Ovulation is when an egg is released from your ovary and starts its journey down to the uterus, where it may or may not be fertilized. Your hormones are at an all-time high, which means you're most likely feeling amazing. The summer of your cycle is all about feeling good and having fun. With your hormone levels nice and high, your mood is great, your energy levels are high, and you'll be feeling your best for the month. So make the most of it. This is the week for high energy activities, socializing, entertaining, and getting things done. The last of the phases of your cycle before you begin menstruating again, the fourth week of your cycle, is known as autumn or premenstruation. Your body is starting to prepare for winter, and you'll find your energy levels and moods start to decrease. Many people experience PMS, premenstrual syndrome. Cramping, cravings, and mood swings are common. You can take Tylenol or Advil for bad cramps or use heating pads to relax the muscles. Creativity is at its peak during this week, and you'll find you'll want more time for yourself. It's important to listen to your body during this time. Some menstrual products people with vulvas can use are menstrual underwear, menstrual cups, pads, and tampons. A menstrual pad can be disposable or reusable, which are made of cloth. They are normally sticky on one side and sometimes have flaps, which will stick to the inside of your underwear. The flaps will then wrap around the edges. Menstrual underwear is a lined underwear that are washable and reusable. These are great to create extra protection when using an additional product with it, like a cup or a tampon. Or they're really great for light days. A menstrual cup is a silicone cup that is inserted into the vaginal canal and rests there as it catches the blood. The cup would need to be emptied a couple times a day, and it takes practice to learn how to use it correctly. A tampon is an absorbent small piece of compacted cotton that is inserted into the vaginal canal. They usually come with an applicator that will help place it inside the vagina easier. When using a tampon for the first time, it may be helpful to use a mirror and some petroleum jelly on the end of the applicator to make the insertion easier. You will insert the top part of the applicator fully inside the vagina, then push the end of the applicator upwards. This will push the cotton portion of the tampon out of the applicator. That way, you could then remove the applicator, leaving the tampon inside to absorb the blood. A string will be attached to the tampon and will be left on the outside of the body for removal. Simply pull on the string when you feel the tampon has absorbed all the blood it can. Tampons should not be worn for more than a few hours, and leaving them too long can cause toxic shock syndrome, which is a bacterial infection.
For trans and non-binary folks, finding a menstrual product that fits you best and that is gender neutral may be helpful. By finding the correct product, working closely with your medical professionals so you're well informed, and creating a support system from the people in your intimacy circle will make navigating menstruation a whole lot easier. Okay, do you feel a bit better? Well, I hope you feel a little less alone. And remember, if you have any questions, I'm always here.
Taking School of Sexuality's classes could have some side effects. Side effects may include, but are not limited to, new ideas, confusion, happiness, communication skills, urges to be yourself, self-love, better friendships, new values, excitement, confidence, compassion, discernment, sympathy, tolerance, thoughtfulness, respect, and big questions. For any questions you may have, contact us immediately.